I just read something truly profound. Someone out there, listening to the universe, declared Master Splinter deserved more page time.
Master Splinter? Right. That would be their pet rat belonging to one of the main characters in the book we're discussing today. An unusual takeaway, perhaps.
Unusual. It's insightful. While everyone else is arguing about the humans, this visionary saw the real star. But fine. Let's talk about the alleged main event. You have the details there, lay it on us. Try not to sound too excited.
Right. We are discussing Pretty Broken Doll by Bree Wiley. It appears to be a male-male contemporary romance. Significant age gap. A 21-year-old named Shilo and a 37-year-old CEO Ryann. Boss-employee situation. It starts, apparently, with a rather awkward intimate encounter after an Uber ride.
Awkward. Reviewers called the aftermath horrible, mortifying. Ryann apparently just throws him out. Thanks for nothing, one person lamented. Sets a charming tone, doesn't it? Like a rom-com directed by a disgruntled badger.
The initial rejection is frequently mentioned. Yes. Months later, Shilo begins an internship at Ryann's company. Forced proximity ensues. The narrative, as described, follows their tumultuous relationship, dealing with intense chemistry, individual traumas, anxiety. Eating disorders are mentioned, and this power imbalance.
Tumultuous. That's one word for it. Polarizing is another. The biggest fight club seems to be over Ryann himself. Is he, and I quote one passionate reader, 100% an asshole, or is he, as another insists, honestly just a big teddy bear? Which is it, arsehole or teddy bear? The Shardinger's CEO.
The descriptions are indeed contradictory. Some found his behavior irredeemably cruel, toxic, manipulative, particularly given his age and position. Others felt his actions stemmed from his own trauma. There's mention of a past fire, family pressure, and that he ultimately showed growth. One reviewer admitted swinging between wanting to toss a chair at him and swooning.
See chair tossing. That's not standard swoon procedure. That's workplace hazard territory, and he's 37. One reviewer basically yelled, "Get the fuck out. You are grown, act like it. You can't be acting like a moody teenager running a company. Unless maybe it's a company that sells angst. Angst Corp. Our motto, we feel badly. So you don't have to..."
An interesting entrepreneurial concept, but the division extends to the other main character, Shilo. He's described as sweet, endearing, suffering from crippling social anxiety.
Sweet Shilo. The pretty broken doll himself. Readers wanted to protect him at all costs, wrap him in bubble wrap. Hide him from the grumpy CEO. But wait, there's a twist. This same anxious, sweet boy apparently also goes out of his way to fuck with his PA job, sabotaging Ryann's schedule and coffee. How does that work?
Reviewers noted that inconsistency. Crippling anxiety versus bratty actions at work. Some found him relatable, others annoying. One called him a crybaby. Another claimed he squeaks like a fucking mouse throughout the entire book.
Squeaks like a mouse. Maybe that's Master Splinter's influence. The rat's been coaching him. Okay, Shilo, today we work on squeak-based intimidation tactics for the boardroom. And the thumb-sucking. Reviewers mentioned thumb-sucking. His own and Ryann's. At work, is this a romance novel or a very specific HR training video on what not to do?
That particular incident, Ryann asking Shilo to sit between his legs and suck his thumb, was cited by one reviewer as a moment they drew the line, calling it harassment. The workplace dynamic is clearly a major point of contention. Inappropriate power dynamic plus gross harassment, one stated bluntly.
While another probably called it Tuesday. And this brings us to the relationship itself. The core question, is it a beautiful story of two broken people who somehow make each other whole, as one quote puts it? Or is it just deeply problematic?
That is the central debate reflected in the commentary. toxic exploitation versus healing hurt comfort. It seems heavily dependent on whether one believes in Ryann's potential for redemption and accepts the intensity of their connection, despite the circumstances.
Okay, listeners, quick poll jump in here. That whole boss-employee 16-year age gap thing inherently creepy, or fuel for forbidden romance fire? Let us know. I think it depends entirely on whether the boss looks like Ryann, is described muscular, dark hair, hazel and possibly Irish. Details matter.
The Irish accent was mentioned. Yes. Moving on, despite the controversies, certain elements received consistent praise. The handling of Shilo's mental health struggles, the anxiety, the eating disorder, body dysmorphia, was often described as nuanced and well done.
Nuanced. Yes, though some did feel the resolution, particularly with the ED, was a bit neat, like, oh, he found love. Guess that complex psychological issue is sorted. Be for real, as one eloquent reviewer put it. But many did relate deeply. Shilo represents so many of us with insecurities, anxieties, and trauma from bullying, someone wrote. It clearly struck a chord.
Indeed, Shilo's character, despite the criticisms of inconsistency, was adored by many. Sweetest little broken boy endearing, wears his emotions and heart on his sleeve. And the side characters, particularly someone named KC, were frequently highlighted as positives. A found family aspect develops.
KC, yes, the funny, supportive friend. Reviewers loved KC. Some even speculated KC and Ryann, had a past. Scandal. And they want KC to get with another side character, Carpenter. Give the people what they want, Bree Wiley. More KC, less chair-throwing CEOs.
The chemistry and spice between Shilo and Ryann were also consistently praised. White hot, one reviewer exclaimed. Explicit scenes are frequently mentioned.
Oh, the spice, hold on to your sensible cardigan. Reviewers were not shy. We've got mentions of toys, plugs, stretching, edging, orgasm, control, spanking. Even a light foot fetish, including toe sucking. And the star of the show, apparently cockwarming.
Cockwarming. Yes, that term appeared multiple times. Reviewers seemed enthusiastic. Cockwarming is my kryptonite, one confessed. Another discovered a new awoken kink.
A new kink unlocked via literature. That's what I call reader engagement. Forget book clubs, we need kink discovery workshops. This segment is brought to you by Kryptonite Cozies for when things need to be specifically warm. Use code EARBOW for 10% off your cozy.
There are no sponsors, and we should address the sensitive content warnings reviewers provided. Beyond the eating disorder discussions, there are mentions of homophobia, including slurs and a physical attack on one of the main characters.
Right, yes. Important context. Reviewers flagged homophobia, including violence and slurs, particularly from controlling fathers apparently plaguing both main characters, and the bullying Shilo endured. It's not all spicy fun and games. There's some heavy stuff woven in. Some reviewers felt the resolution with the bigoted dads was too quick, though. Like ain't no way it was dealt with that seamlessly, someone scoffed.
The pacing of resolutions, especially concerning the fathers and the eating disorder, was a point of criticism for some, contrasting with others who found the overall emotional journey satisfying. Direct contradictions abound. Ryann asshole versus teddy bear. Shilo, endearing versus annoying toddler who squeaks. Relationship toxic versus beautiful. ED handling nuanced versus superficial.
It's like the book is deliberately trying to start fights, which brings us to reviewer quirks. My favorite part. One person was fixated on Shilo losing his hotel key and crying about it. Like, dude, go to the front desk. They ranted. Another dismissed the whole thing because the author gave out free copies. No wonder this has a high rating, conspiracy. And someone else knew better than to trust a book with a playlist. Playlists are apparently a red flag now.
Interesting theories. There were also relatable admissions, reading it all in one sitting. Staying up until 3 a.m. or squealing. Kicking feet while giggling. Intense engagement, positive or negative.
We actually got an email from cockwarming Kryptonite Queen. She writes, "Dear Heartbook Radio. The host is so right about Master Splinter. He's clearly the puppet master. Ryann's cruelty, Splinter whispering in his ear. Shilo's bratty axe, Splinter's revenge plan. The succession by queer as folk vibe someone mentioned. That's just Splinter's preferred aesthetic. 5 stars for the rat, 0 stars for the other host not seeing the obvious."
Right. A compelling theory from cockwarming Kryptonite Queen. It seems the book evokes strong, sometimes tangential opinions. So, the final verdict. It appears to be a story that deeply resonates with some through its portrayal of trauma, healing, and intense chemistry, while alienating others with its depiction of a potentially toxic dynamic, character inconsistencies, and controversial handling of sensitive themes.
Exactly. So, for Pretty Broken Doll, my official Heartbook Radio rating is 2 characters I want to protect at all costs, plus 1 character I want to launch into the sun via office chair, divided by the square root of cockwarming mentions, which seems to be quite high. Let's call it a solid 4 out of 5 WTF, was that thumb thing moments.
Precise calculation. Ultimately, the commentary suggests this book is intensely divisive, praised emotional depth, debated relationship ethics, adored and despised characters in equal measure.
Look, folks, the reviews basically paint this as either your next obsession or the reason you need therapy. Or both. If you like your romance messy, angsty, spicy enough to require a fire extinguisher, and featuring a CEO who might be a villain or just misunderstood, well, Pretty Broken Doll is waiting. Link in the description, you brave souls.
That was Heartbook Radio. Join us next time. There's been a promise of a deep dive into a cookbook, focused entirely on things found under sofa cushions.
It's called Lint Cuisine. And it's going to be deliciously controversial signing off.
And good day.